As the darkness covered him, he saw a beautiful transparent glass in front of him. It seemed as if it was floating in the air. Curious, he walked closer to it. "Is this some kind of new glass?" he asked himself. Dancing in the midst of it were the colors that resembled a rainbow's reflection. "A giant bubble, maybe?" He stretched out his arm to touch the glass but was interrupted by a filthy man who smelled of urine and musk. Attempting to hold his nose, the man swore and cursed at him. As he got into a fighting stance, he was awakened from his dream but still smelled the man's stench. Letzi was there, sitting in front of him. "Good morning," Waninyekova said, puzzled and rubbing his nose as he sat up, stretching, then rubbing his eyes. Letzi said to Waninyekova, "You're very passionate about your lineage. Sabaoth has seen your heart and would like to tell you more about who your ancestors are, because there is a reason you have such passion." Waninyekova said, "It's the way of many Wakatilians to serve Sabaoth, as warriors to learn and stay abreast of our fighting skills and know our heritage, for we are taught from our youth to recite our heritage. Centuries ago, we were lied to about who we were, which brought about great destruction amongst our people. I can go back 1,256 years." Letzi took a seat. "You may begin," Waninyekova said. "Well," surprised that Letzi would even ask. "Which side would you like me to start from?" Letzi said. "Both are equally important. On your mother's side, there were the indigenous people of the Americas, and their descendants came from proud and brave people of Africa." Letzi interrupted him. "However, for this lesson, let's start with your father's side." Waninyekova was shocked to hear what Letzi had said and was curious because he could not go any further than slavery on his mother's side and wanted to know more. "My father's side, I can give you 4 more generations than my mother's because of slavery, and I would like to learn more. I would have to start with John, born around 1787, who had James and James had TV had William, and William and his father arrived here during the mid-1800s, proud Irish men who traveled here during what many called the Great Irish Invasion. There was a great famine in Ireland, and many fled to the U.S. back then to escape poverty. 20 years later, the Civil War. The Irish were called the White Negroes even though they were mistreated. They still were treated better than the Wakatilian slaves of that time. You see, the slaves were considered livestock and not even human. I remember reading some of Noel Ignatiev's books, an author and historian during that time. He said they referred to the Irish as turned inside out, and the Negroes labeled smoked Irish. Anyway, as Waninyekova continued, "Well, William was born in Ireland but eventually traveled south to Natchez, Mississippi. Like many others, desperate for work, his family became overseers for the slave owners. William had Albert,